I did want to talk about Monson, though, because 30:03, I mean, she smashed Molly Huddle's American record here. And Huddle, some respect to that race. She ran at 30:13. It was the heat of the morning in Rio. Crazy race. Really impressive run. Didn't have super shoes. But what Monson did, I was very impressed by because the pace, they were actually behind record pace at halfway when Jose Andrews dropped out. It was 15:09. And then she runs 14:54, leading almost every step in the second half. She ran faster without a rabbit than with a rabbit. And she was just grinding. I was super impressed by Monson's strength in that. And obviously very impressed by Eilish McColgan as well. She's in the middle of marathon training. She's running London in 7 weeks. And she just decides, oh, I'm in pretty good 10K shape. I might as well hop in here. She runs 30 flat, just breaks Paula Radcliffe's record that had stood for more than 20 years. So just terrific racing, terrific running by both of them. I think both of them, obviously McColgan, to be able to kick that well in the midst of marathon training was pretty good.
Yeah, when I read this one, I was shocked with the result. I just figured, oh, you're training for a marathon, maybe you won't have that much of a kick, but I don't know. I moved to the mountains to train for the marathon, and I got much better at the 10K. Endurance goes a long way in these events.
Yeah, and this is not a championship 10K. I mean, if you're in the middle of marathon training, you're going to be more suited to run a time trial kind of 10K than a championship kind of 10K, I would think. Let's give her some credit. I mean, Eilish McColgan won the Ethiopian 10K trials last year. Now, they all let her go, but she still, I'm just saying, she crossed the finish line first in that race. She won the Commonwealth Games, 10,000. Granted, it wasn't against the very best Kenyans, but she got to give him, like, when she entered this race, I'm like, okay, this is the one person who could beat Alicia Monson. So was I stunned by this result? No, I was impressed. I wasn't stunned.
Yeah. Eilish McColgan, like, she stepped up her game these last couple years. For the longest time, she obviously got a lot of attention in Britain. Her mom is Liz McColgan, who won the Worlds in 1991 at 10K. But I was like, oh, she gets attention. She's just nothing like her mom. And she's still not quite like her mom, but she's a British record holder now.
In a 5K, 10K, and half marathon, not just one event.
She's really upped her game, though. I mean, she's gotten a lot faster these last couple of years. So I'm not sure. Maybe she's a responder to the shoes, over time. State's a little bit healthier now. I don't know what the difference is with her. The thing for me, though, in this race, John, it's a different era. It's a completely different era. I wanted someone to go sub 30. It was I saw the result, like, oh, nobody went sub 30. But from that first half, if you go 15:09, it's really hard to do. So, yes, props to Monson for pushing this thing, but I mean, she's the American record holder. I guess I shouldn't be too critical of her. She's really established herself as, it's not the same as Molly Huddle, but she's probably as good as Molly Huddle was before she got the medal. Like, she's at that
what medal
level.
Did Molly Huddle get?
Well, she should have had a medal. Or fine, before the 30-13 in the Olympics Rio, what place did that get her? 6th?
I think so, yeah.
That's better. That was better than the run where she finished 4th and led up for the line. I'm sorry. That was an amazing run in the heat. I'm sorry. Better run.
I agree. It is. I would love to see what Molly Huddle, prime Molly Huddle, or prime Shalane Flanagan, who ran 30:22 in the Olympic final in Beijing to get the silver. I would love to see what one of those two could have done. You put them in a perfect manicured race like this, great conditions. I think they're probably breaking 30 flat with the shoes and everything.
Probably. Of course they are. I mean, look, this is a great run by Monson. I mean, think about it. Like, the collegiate record, as good as Tuohy is, she still hasn't broken 15 minutes. This woman's closing, in 14:50. It's like the top. It reminds you of how good the top pros are. Like we've debated, well, isn't the stat the world record in the marathon? It used to be that take the split in half, and that's faster than the American record in the half marathon. So you can have the Americans sit out half the race, wait halfway, and still not beat them. You can have most American runners waiting at most American or even pros waiting at halfway at this 5,000 start the race and they can't beat Alicia Monson.
Well, also to put that record into context, the half marathon world record pace is 29:47 for 10K. So neither of these women ran the same pace as Gaudet did for 13.1 miles. But
wait, that's crazy. We're about to, at the end of this podcast, I'm sure we're going to say Katelyn Tuohy this, Katelyn Tuohy that. She's really established herself as an American star. Katelyn Tuohy may not have been able to keep up for halfway. I'm not buying it. I think Katelyn Tuohy can go way under 15:54. I'll just say that much then. Or is Monson that good? I mean, when you think of it
remember, they raced each other in the 3K indoors, and Monson beat her by 10 seconds. Monson's clearly better, but Katelyn Tuohy hasn't been in a race where you've got 3 professional women just basically rabbiting you for. I think you stick Katelyn Tuohy in the first 5K of this race, and you make it a 14:55 instead of a 15:09. I think she runs 14:55 or somewhere in that range. But the problem is, Tuohy's probably not going to get into that kind of race before she graduates college. And the other thing I will say about Alicia Monson, she's only 24 years old. The fact that she's got the American record in the 3K and the American record now in the 10K at this young an age, I'm very excited to see how much she can improve. Because if you're already running that fast now, 24, that's not always your peak as a 10K runner. We've seen American women run well in this event deep into their 20s. So I'm very excited to see her progression. I think Robert's like, she never had the kick to medal in the 10K. I mean, she almost won the 3K in Lausanne last year against some of the best 5K runners in the world. So right now, no. But in a few years, especially at a Worlds where maybe not all the top talents are running it, I'd say she's got a chance.
She definitely can medal at a Worlds because some of the women might not be running it. They might want to try to run a marathon. They might be injured. It's not inconceivable at the Olympics, but I think when Flanagan did it, it was easier. I mean, people don't like to hear this, but Africa was a very sexist place 20 years ago. There weren't as many women competing. I would still say it's pretty to somewhat sexist now, but it's getting better. So there are more opportunities for these women, which means more depth for the U.S. women to compete against.
I would also say this, though. Are we even sure Alicia Monson is going to win USAs? I mean, I know Elise Cranny didn't run this race. I don't think things have been going. I don't think she was ready to run an American record. Cranny did get smoked by Monson the last time they raced. But looking at the last 2 U.S. championships, Alicia Monson didn't win any of them. She's never won a U.S. title in the track. I don't think it's crazy to suggest that Schweizer outkicked her in the 10K last year. If Schweizer is healthy and ready to, maybe she's not as fit as Monson is right now, but USA is not until July. I don't think she's a lock to even win the U.S. title. So keeping things in perspective, but obviously this was a tremendous display of fitness.
She's not a lock, but she's definitely the favorite, John. Because those other two, are they even going to be on the starting line?
I mean, Schweizer hasn't been racing, and Elise Cranny got smoked and dropped out of this race. She got smoked at Millrose and withdrew from this race. So, obviously, Monson's the favorite right now.
Okay, what about the lesser places in these races? Is there anything even worth mentioning?